Good morning. It's a gray Sunday here. I'm in between smoothies and I thought this would be a good time to make a video. We've had quite a lot of gray days here in South Alabama. We had a day leading up until Christmas. We had 5 or 6 days where the sun didn't come out at all. Rained a fair amount, not so much rain, and then yesterday was gray all day with a lot of rain, and today's gray all day with a lot of rain. I'm not really complaining. It's kind of like nice weather for me. It's the next best thing to, it simulates winter. It feels more wintry like this, and you know, I don't get very much winter down where I live. The subject today, okay, now first of all, to preface, I know I'm not normal, and I know I don't think like most people do, so somebody's going to have to explain this one to me. Why all this justifying for our lifestyle, for the lifestyles, whether it's Raw 4, Raw Vegan, or whatever you're doing to try to make improvements in your life? Now, once again, this is just me, but in general, I've found that the only time I really justify anything in life is either when I know I'm doing something wrong, but I'm kind of trying to rationalize it or work my way out where, well, it's really okay to be doing. Or I justify if I'm unsure if what I'm doing is the right thing or if it's good. Now, I can't speak for anyone else, but you know, from the time I adopted this way of living, this way of eating, I've just instinctively known it's the right thing for me. Now, I don't mean that I do everything perfectly and my way is the right way, but you get what I'm saying. A whole food plant-based diet, I'm thoroughly convinced of it. But it seems to be so many people out there that always are talking. In fact, I don't think I go through one day of watching videos or checking out threads on Facebook groups or other groups or interacting with people in forums that it's not somehow that subject doesn't come up. And a lot of times there's multiple threads going on at the same time about how somebody's trying to justify to somebody. Well, I don't know if I just run with a different type of crowd. Maybe I'm selective, or maybe I'm lucky. But there's really, so I wouldn't justify anyway. But there's nobody in my life that really puts me in that position of justifying. As I've said before, the slightest negativity I ever got from my mother was the first time I came home after this lifestyle, and I don't blame her a bit. I looked horrible. I was 143 pounds. Looked like I'd just come out of a concentration camp or something. But other than that, she's always been very supportive. Even one time last week, we have some nuts around here, and I wanted some nuts one night, and she had some chocolate, well, not bad stuff, but chocolate covered macadamia nuts, and I said, hey, will you give me a few of those over there, thinking she had the bag of nuts over there. Well, she didn't even like, you know, it wasn't even like some person that doesn't follow our lifestyle. I just poured them in and said, oh, you need to eat that. Yeah, I'm glad he's not being such the nut anymore. But she actually caught me on it. She said, I mean, I would have seen it when she gave them, but she told me, you really want some of these, the chocolate? And I'm like, oh no, thanks. So my mother's always been very supportive. I went to see a very old friend of mine yesterday, my oldest friend in the world. It was a great day. Met him and his wife. Now, to be honest, they were having a birthday celebration, and they cooked on the grill. They cooked burgers on the grill, but they were very supportive of me. My friend's wife, who has become a good friend of mine through Facebook, went to the trouble, actually went out after I got there and bought a bunch of stuff and made me a very nice salad yesterday. And even though they eat like they eat right now, they're becoming more interested. They asked me a lot of questions. They were very inquisitive, but there was no judgment or no looking at me funny. Even the few people, there were some other people there for this birthday celebration, and even the strangers there, now they may have just been being polite, but there was no mention at the table. I'm sitting at a table of 7, 8 people eating a big salad while they're doing their thing, while they're drinking some wine and doing whatever. Everybody was cool. So maybe somebody can clue me in. Why is everybody justifying doing something that's positive and good for themselves to other people? I mean, I just don't know. I don't quite get it. Yeah, I mean, this may not even be that long of a video. I just don't really get it. Listen, if you're doing something good for yourself, you should never. If you're doing something bad, that's even if you were doing something that affected somebody else, if all of a sudden even you went to eating this lifestyle and you impose some sort of law in your house, like everybody will eat this. Okay, I could understand that. I could understand that 100%. But a lot of the people that I see talking about this are the sweetest people in the world. They're very accommodating. Actually, they're a little too accommodating. They're pleasers. They want to please people around them. I don't know. I've just never had that impulse in me, except for, like I say, not to be mean, not to discount other people's feelings. But once again, going back to the fact that if I'm not doing something wrong, bad, or affecting another person, I don't need to be sorry. I don't need to make any excuses. I don't need to make any justification for anything. Now, I don't walk, you know, I think I walk a pretty middle path. I'm not one of the ones, I'm not walking around being judgmental. I'm not a preacher. I don't bust into a room. I don't bust into a gathering or of people, or even just in my day-to-day life around people. I'm not the food police. I'm not telling people, hey, you're making bad choices. Hey, I'm a vegan. Eat like this. That's bad. You know, I'm more of a live and let live. I'm kind of the person that I'm very happy to talk about this lifestyle. I'm very happy to talk about the, you know, what this lifestyle can lead to, the changes it can make in your body and how you feel and your outlook on life. But I don't want to be that guy, you know what I'm talking about? Like that guy that's constantly, because he doesn't get it, they don't get anywhere. He or she doesn't get anywhere. That person that's, you know, walking around all the time preaching, you should do this. People don't come that way. I don't do that. Like I say, I'm always very kind. I'm always very friendly. So once again, so if nobody will take any offense here, I'm not saying you have to be confrontational or every time somebody questions you, get up in their face ready for a fight. You can and you don't have to say nasty things. You don't have to stoop to arguing or whatever, but you stand your ground. And especially, I'm going to have to say, because there's a lot more ladies out there in this lifestyle. You know, I'm in a group right now that's interesting because I'm seeing more men join in. And in general, this newer group that I'm checking out, these ladies are a little bit more powerful. They're a little bit less, and like I say, I hope I don't put my foot in my mouth here, because, you know, I do a lot of stuff online, and so I mix in different subject matters and different groups. So at some point I can be mixing in groups with raw vegans and people about the food, but I can also be in other groups related to sports, related to travel, related to business and other matters. Now, I find, to be quite honest, in this health movement, whether raw food, whatever, but you know what I'm talking about when I say the movement, you know, just the kind of different groups we all go to, whether we're eating exactly the same way or not, seems to be a little bit more like back in the 60s, 70s. I grew up with that TV, Donna Reed, the TV shows like Father Knows Best, where I actually was watching it. It's so outdated, but I mean, I love them. They were funny. I Love Lucy during the holidays, and Ricky's basically her father. Women, this ain't the 1960s and 70s anymore. You don't have to be subservient to the man of the house. You don't have to, you know, everything revolves around him and how he wants dictates the house will be. If you're doing this lifestyle, and that's the thing, a lot of the women I see make these comments are actually, I'm like, wow, this is a really cool person. They're doing their thing. They're trying to make their changes. Their children, they're not pushing it. They try to encourage better choices, but they're not pushing it. You know, their kids still have foods in the house that mom won't eat. Same thing for the husbands. They're going above and beyond. They're shopping for this food. They're preparing this food that they probably don't want to be preparing. I'll be honest with you, you're a lot better than me. If I had a household, I wouldn't ban it, but I wouldn't be doing it for them. And I don't think I'd be cooking meat. I don't know. I can't say, but I do admire them for doing that. And I live in a different situation. So what I'm getting at here is you have these people, a lot of times it's women, sometimes it's the man. It's always different situations that are, like I say, they're being perfectly reasonable with their family. They're not being judgmental. They're giving them everything they want, and either the rest of the family, somebody in the family, is just constantly beating them down, chipping away. You got to stand up and own things. You know, whether it's food, whether it's exercise, whether it's business, whether it's just your peace in the household, your interaction in the household, you're never going to get anywhere unless you stand up for yourself. And once again, it doesn't have to be this nasty confrontational type thing. Actually that can be counterproductive. I've found in different situations before when settling conflict that the best approach and the approach that works more times than not is to stand up firmly for yourself, and a lot of times even with a smile on your face in a very nice, kind, loving way. It's almost, but I don't even know, it's almost like a tone you use with a child almost. You know, you're firm, but you're not angry, you're not violent, you're not confrontational. It's just, I'm standing for my truth, I'm standing for what I do. And, you know, I'm sorry if you don't tend to seem to think that's your truth, but I'm allowing you to live your truth, so please allow me to live mine. I don't know. There's no specifics in this video today. I just thought maybe it might speak to a few people out there that for some reason don't know or don't believe that they have the right to make the best decisions for themselves. You know, because in the end, we're all responsible. I mean, children have to have somebody responsible for them up until a certain age, but as adults, we are all responsible for our own decisions. And I'll tell you what, I've said this many, many times, and I will repeat it again. I have no obligation, none, zero, to put something in my mouth, into my body, into my system, into my temple that's not good for me, just to appease or make somebody else feel better. Now, we can talk love and light and compassion and all this all you want to. I ain't going to do it because there's no basis to that. It's what I do should not, like what I put into my mouth should not affect anybody else whatsoever. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe it might give you a little power, or maybe you know somebody that might benefit from seeing this and needs to just be told that they can do what's best for them. They can make their own decisions. Anyhow, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Just a few more days left in the new year. I mean in the old year, until the new year. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll be in 2015, which is going to be a year of power. I'm working on a little end of the year message right now. It'll probably come out in the next couple of days. And have I said it this week? I'm going to say it anyway. I love each and every one of you. Peace.